What's going on, everybody? I'm back with another new podcast. Got another new video for you guys today. It's a good one and I want to jump right into it. But before I do, take a second to subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and hit that notification bell so every time I release a video, you'll be the first to know. And don't forget to hit that like button too. Let's get right into it.
I really wanted it to be you so badly.
Alright, y'all, here goes story time for how I married a scammer who scammed me for $20,000. First and foremost, I see y'all in my comments talking about I'm stupid and you could never and blah blah blah. Okay, sis, I get it. But this is my story, this is my truth, and I have to tell it for women that may be experiencing this who can't speak about it. So I'll just go ahead and get right into it. When I met him, I was at my heaviest. I was so insecure, I had acne all over my face, low self-esteem, you name it. So when he came along, and mind you, like, he is physically what I am really attracted to, so it was not hard for me to fall for him. So when he came along, it wasn't hard for him to just sweep me off my feet and tell me everything I wanted to hear, because I was already infatuated with him. Like, he didn't have to show me anything.
So what Bailey started in the video, and there's a problem already. She said that she entered into the relationship in both an insecure and broken state due to her weight and some skin issues that she may have had. Now, instead of addressing those issues and finding permanent solutions, she went ahead and started a relationship with a man in a bad emotional state. And generally, if you're not in a good emotional state, you're going to make illogical decisions and you're going to miss a lot of red flags because you're so focused on that good feeling that you're getting, because it's so far away from that bad state that you were in before you met that man. And you don't want to go back there. But the real key to not going back there is to do the work on yourself first, because nobody can pour from an empty cup. But we're going to see what else happens with the rest of the story.
Okay, just to echo what I was saying about being insecure, like, during those times I was really insecure, I had really low self-esteem, and I really didn't even know it until this experience. Like, this experience exposed it. And I also have to mention that my mom died when I was a baby, and my father was kind of in and out, so my aunt raised me. So that means, like, I just never experienced love from a man. And I also didn't live in an environment where I saw women being loved properly by men.
See, and this is why family is so important. You know, having a mother and a father that are committed to loving and supporting one another, it's a real important thing, because the children see that. And they have examples that they can take with them throughout life of what love is supposed to look like, instead of running out here in the world, bumping their heads, trying to figure out who's for them and who isn't. Now, she's looking at all the wrong things that her father never taught her to look for. And if she had that father in her life, then things may have worked out well for her. She might be $20,000 up, but unfortunately, she ran into a scammer and she was so enamored by just the physical things. She was at her low point and somebody was there to pick her up, instead of having a father that instills confidence in her and helps her to know who she is before she gets out in the dating world. And we need more of that. And unfortunately, a lot of us don't have that, but we can learn from each other on what to and what not to do. And if you keep running into the same mistakes after being told over and over and over again to vet somebody, look for their characteristics, figure out who they are on the inside. Stop getting so caught up on the physical aspects of a person, how tall they are, what kind of six-pack they have, how deep their bank account is, and look for what kind of person that guy is. Then you're going to wind up in the same situations over and over and over again. But we're going to let her continue on with her story, and we're going to see, you know, what happened with the $20,000, how she got in the situation. We're going to see if, you know, maybe she learned something.
I mean, either. So I'm just out here waiting to be loved, looking for love, and don't even know what it looks like. So again, it was easy for me to be his victim. It was easy for me to fall for him. Anywho, so I used to go back and forth to Jamaica. I am Jamaican, and he's also Jamaican. So I'm gonna go ahead and admit the most embarrassing part about the story, and that is that we did meet online. I know.
Now that's just how people meet nowadays, because it's hard to meet face to face, without risking looking like a creep in most cases, at least for us men. But yeah, I think we understand that part, but you also have to understand that people can be whoever they want to be online. A lot of times people bring their representative, they're not bringing themselves. So you got to proceed cautiously if you are meeting somebody through an app, because you don't know who that person is. You don't have anybody that they know that you can verify, who they are. Are they normally like this? Do they get mad in this situation? X, Y, and Z, so on and so forth. So you have to be real careful before you open up to somebody that you meet online, especially somebody that lives in a foreign country from you. I mean, it's hard enough dating when somebody's in the same city as you, let alone a different country. So, be wise.
Y'all, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, so everything was good in the beginning. Like, I was also kind of like love bomb, and not really with gifts. Like, we would go out, we would have a good time, but it was his words. Like, he would just tell me everything I wanted to hear. We would talk about our future, our life.
You made her feel good.
Everything, and I'm just so amazing. And again, I'm this insecure girl who feels so ugly at this time. Like, I feel so ugly, even to the point where I remember asking him, like, why me? Like, I will always, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, like, I was.
And if you in a relationship, looking at your partner, asking them why you, then that's a big sign that you need to heal. You need to take some time for yourself and build you up. Because if you can't love yourself first, then how is somebody else gonna love you? And if they see that you don't love you, then why would they have a reason to not disrespect you, to not run all over you, because you're allowing that, because you don't feel good about who you are. So that's why it's so important to heal and build yourself up first before you get into these relationships. It'll save you a lot of pain in the end.
Always seeking validation from him, if I'm being honest. So there was that. So he would just make me feel good. So maybe like again. Well, not again. Let me go ahead and say this. I was married and separated all within 1 year. So as we're dating, we were out at the beach one day, and again, I live in Virginia, so I'm flying back and forth, and we're just like, you know what, we should get married. Like, if we want to be together, if he wants to live in America, like, let's just go ahead and get married and start that process. Again, I'm no stranger to this process. I'm Jamaican. A lot of my family members have gone through it, so it's not like this big deal to me. It's like, all right, we can do it. And like, he has his visa. It's not like he's a bum. Like, I see a lot of you guys in the comments asking if he has money. Like, he had his own house. He had his own business. Like, he wasn't a bum. So that's why I'm just like, yeah, it happened to me anyway. So like, he had a visa. He could travel to America. So it's like, yes, now I think he married me for a green card, but at the time I'm not thinking like that he needed that, because he could go to America whenever he wanted.
All right, so she broke it down how she got into this situation. She was insecure. She wasn't feeling good about herself. Somebody came along, said all the right things, had just the right look, had financial success, apparently. But somehow she ended up getting scammed for $25,000. And the question is after this is over with, has she learned anything? Is she going to proceed different as she moves forward? And that's the power of the internet, because we have our answer coming up right now. All right, so she's back with another TikTok. This one is a couple of months later, and she's going over a date that she went on. Let's see if she's learned anything from the experience of her husband.
All the ladies on the dating scene, check in. Are you guys okay? Because I am not. I don't like it out there. It's too weird for me, okay? It's story time. So last week I went on a date, right, with this guy. This was our second date. He's super successful. From what I know of him, he was really nice. We have good conversation. So for the second day, I let him come pick me up from my house, which I don't normally do.
Yeah, ladies, I would advise you to have your own transportation, especially on a second date. You haven't really properly vetted this guy out yet. You don't know what kind of person he is, and allowing him to know where you live so early in the process could have a lot of dire consequences later down the road. So it's best to make sure that you're able to get to and from the date on your own, and just in case something happens and you need to leave in the middle of it, you have that comfort and security that you can do so. But let's keep going.
But I switched it up this time. Whatever. So he took me out to one of the nicer restaurants here in Dallas called Del Frisco's, and the bill was about $400. I'm only telling you guys that to add a little context to what I'm about to tell you. So the date itself was fine. We enjoyed each other's company. We enjoyed our meal. So when he dropped me off, he parked and we talked in the car. Out of nowhere, he like leaps over. So yeah, he leaps over his seat to kiss me, and it's not just like a peck. And again, the moment didn't call for it. It was so random. So he like, I have on a dress, so he starts to like rub up my legs and like just try to fill me up. And I'm just like, whoa, like please stop. Like I don't like that. Like I'm uncomfortable. And when I say uncomfortable, I'm on the edge of the chair like clenching like this, and it's like, why wasn't that like enough for you? Me being visibly uncomfortable, why didn't that give you the sense to say, okay, she doesn't want this? But for him, he's like, well, this is the way.
Well, let me stop that's right here, because fellas, you don't ever want to be this guy. This is very cringy behavior right here. If you're on a date, remember, it doesn't matter how much money you spent, you're not entitled to her inner walls. And that's why you shouldn't go out on a second date going to an expensive steakhouse, because there's a small chance that you're gonna be able to recoup what you're looking for. You're spending that money so you can somehow impress her, so that you can get right to those inner walls even faster. But you're not realizing that you're the only one that spent $400. She didn't. She's up right now. She got to go to a nice restaurant. She probably had an appetizer, a main course, maybe some dessert, drinks, and it's all on you. So she's satisfied at this point at the end of the night. You're not, because you're out $400. And ladies, I'm gonna tell you something too. On a second date, it might be a little wise to decline such an expensive date. Maybe suggest some place that is nice, but a little bit more reasonable. And that's going to help you out in the long run. Because think about this. If this man came out the house prepared to spend $400, and you take him to a place that's maybe the bill is $100, $150, in his mind, he's going to feel like he saved $250. And he's going to feel like he got your support, and you're not just out there to run his pockets. So he's going to feel better down the line given to you, because he trusts you. And then now you've taken sex off the table, because he hasn't spent this exorbitant amount of money on somebody that he doesn't really know. So let's keep going.
Way I show love. Okay, that's your love language. It's not mine. So just because that's the way you show love, it justifies your actions. It gives you agency over me. And he was just like, yeah, that's what I like. So I'm like, so I don't matter in this moment. Y'all, please like tell me if you've had this experience, because for me it's kind of normal, and it's almost alarming. It's like, what is the rush on the physical act? If two people are engaging, they like each other, sex and physical intimacy is inevitable. So what is the rush? Like, why can't I know who you are? Why can't I know your last name? Why can't I know what you like to do, the things you're interested in, before I just give my body to you in any capacity? It's like, they're so entitled. I am so sick of it. I am so sick. Ladies, please tell me if you've had this experience. Or am I crazy? Did I do something wrong? Did I give him any inclination that it was okay? I don't think I did, because I wore a dress, because I existed, because I'm beautiful. I just don't understand at all. It's so predatory. It's so disgusting to me.
And that's the end of that TikTok. And again, she's not learning from her mistakes. Yeah, she was okay with going out on that expensive date, but when he wanted something in return, there was this major issue. Now, we said this once and we'll say it again. Just because you spend money on a date does not mean that you're entitled to anything. But ladies, you have to understand that this is the second date. So whatever he spent on the first, whatever he spent on the second, it adds up, and he's gonna want something in return. So in order to curb that, you should suggest maybe a less expensive place to go, something that's not so reserved for a special moment. Steakhouses anniversaries, birthdays, something that you're celebrating. You're not celebrating a second date. There's nothing that happened on that first date that would call to go out on a second date at a steakhouse. Unless one, you're trying to eat good, and two, he's trying to make sure that he gets some buns at the end of the night. So yeah, that's that situation. And yeah, it's easy to feel sorry for her. She's ran into two knuckleheads at this point, been in situations that have not worked out the best for her. But does she know really the difference between good guys and bad guys? Well, that's the power of the internet. We're about to find out right now, because she's got one last one that we're going to dive into. Let's get it. All right. So as we see here in our not so shocking conclusion, she hasn't really learned much of anything from her experiences. The caption here reads, "When God sent you the one, I mean, great personality, respectful, patient, thoughtful, successful, and funny, but his breath stinks." And look at the way she's acting. She's waving her hands no, shaking her head no. She doesn't want this kind of guy. And unfortunately, a lot of good men go to the wayside because of very arbitrary things. They might not be that financially successful man that she wants, or that physically attractive guy that she's so infatuated with. But there's a lot of good, decent men that fit this mold. And hopefully she'll change something, and maybe she'll get one of them. But what are the chances? And how many of you really think that that's going to happen anytime soon? So I hope you got a lot out of this video. That's going to be it for me. And as always, if you like what you saw, subscribe to the channel, like the video, put any comments down below. And until another time, I'll see you guys later.